So much, Erica. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, and thank you for joining me today for my telephone town hall on the coronavirus public health crisis. I am talking to you live right here in the Rayburn building in my Washington, D.C. office, and I am joined by experts on the call from the district and the D.C. offices. Together, we are working hard to address the coronavirus pandemic in a smart and strategic manner. I have been receiving regular updates from federal, state, and local officials and consulting daily with congressional leadership to make sure that the federal government is trying to do all it can to help all Americans and all communities. We are facing an unprecedented situation. And I know many of you have a lot of questions. So tonight, I want to hear more from you. We will attempt to answer your questions and address the concerns you may have. This evening, we are also streaming the telephone town hall on Facebook Live and my website. Links to the live stream can be found on my website and social media pages at www.facebook.com/RepJoyceBeatty, www.twitter.com/RepBeatty, and www.beatty.house.gov. I know that's a lot. You'll hear it throughout our telephone conference. Throughout the call, you will also be able to ask a question, make a comment. Please press *3 to be assisted or to leave a comment on Facebook. Also, please be aware that the call is being recorded. The recording will be posted on my YouTube page for individuals who were not able to participate this evening at www.youtube.com/RepBeatty. My staff and I are here to serve you. As a matter of fact, my executive team is on the call as well. The Washington, D.C. office can be reached at 202-225-4324 and the district office at 614-220-0003. Erica, as she mentioned, our moderator, also joining us on the call are many experts. We wanted to be able to put our best minds forward for this. So I am pleased to announce that Dr. Andy Thomas, Chief Clinical Officer for The Ohio State University's Wexner Medical Center, Dr. Mashika Roberts, Columbus Public Health Commissioner, Don DePero, Columbus Chamber of Commerce President and CEO, Michelle Heritage, Columbus Shelter Board President and CEO, Dr. Talisa Dixon, Columbus City Schools Superintendent, Joy Bibbins, Director of the Franklin County Jobs and Family Services, the Honorable Erica Crawley, State Representative, State of Ohio, Stephanie Hightower, President and CEO, Columbus Urban League, Bill Faith, Central Ohio Homeless and Housing, Ohio Executive Director, Jill Frost, Director of the Central Ohio African American Chamber of Commerce, Laurel Dawson, Chief of Staff to Governor Michael DeWine. Also, we have on the call Al Edmondson, local advocate and barber. I know that's a lot of people, but we know you will have a lot of questions in different subject areas. Again, if you have a comment or a question, please press *3 and leave a comment on Facebook. Now, as we are waiting for more people to join, I wanted to share with you that Central Ohioans have been calling my office to share their stories. We have heard from hardworking families struggling to make ends meet, desperate to put food on the table, pay their utility bills, and put a roof over their children's head. Many of you are concerned about losing your job or have already maybe lost your job, or you want to know what resources are available to you. We have heard from countless individuals wanting to know if they're eligible to get a direct payment. How much will it be? When will they get it? How will it affect their taxes? Because we need help now, and they want to have some answers now. So we're here to try to help you. I've also heard from small business owners, including barbershops, hair and nail salons, family restaurants, bars from across the district, worried about how they will keep their lights on, how they will stay open, much less how they will pay next week's payroll. I have spoken with our food banks, homeless shelters, housing advocates to make sure that we are helping our most at-risk neighbors during this time. A few weeks ago, I convened a community coronavirus pandemic conference call with government officials at every level, county leaders, not-for-profits, and various stakeholders to coordinate our efforts. Many of you on the call today may have been on that call. But let me share with you that on that call, it became clear that we could do a better job, not just communicating and coordinating our efforts, but reaching out to our shared constituents. Also, I recorded a radio PSA to make sure that Central Ohioans are well informed. I've had daily conference calls with congressional leadership, local, state, city, and county officials, and many more people and organizations in our community fighting to flatten the curve and curb the coronavirus. In Washington, I have supported all 3 of our emergency bills. Now, I'm not going to walk you through each of those bills, but I do want to remind you that the first bill allowed us to vote for $8.3 billion, a package that provided, and I'm very proud to say, $345,000 for Central Ohio's community health centers to confront coronavirus. There was that second bill, as you will recall, that outlined all the things to help us figure out how to get testing, that paid for the emergency leave and the sick leave. And then the third bill, just today, I had the honor to go on the House floor and talk about small businesses, putting families first and making sure that healthcare and the hospitals have all the resources that they need. And many of you have asked about that direct payment. I was able to go on the floor and remind people that it's $1,200 for families and individuals who make less than $75,000 and $500 for every child. Also, $350 billion for forgivable small business loans for small businesses, independent contractors, as I mentioned before, like barbershops or restaurant owners or hair salons and nail salons. For the very first time, we have money that will go out to not-for-profits and churches. We want to make sure that minority-led and minority-serving not-for-profits are also included. Now, I know that's a lot, but you will hear much of this again as we try to address all of your questions. But for more information on the things that we are doing in the 3rd Congressional District, you can go to my website at www.beatty.house.gov. There's a lot to talk about, so why don't we do this? Erica, why don't we go to the people and hear what they have to say or what questions they have? And to all our experts and to my executive team on the call, we're going to start hearing from our callers because that's why we're here.
Great. And again, if you would like to ask a question, you can press star 3 on your telephone pad. All right, let's just do it. We have John. John is in Columbus, Ohio. John, you are live with the Congresswoman. You may ask your question.
Hello, Congresswoman. I'm respectfully requesting, or I'd like to know if the National Veterans Memorial and Museum will get a bailout, or will the current crisis force them to shut down operations?
Thank you, John, for that question. What I can tell you is they would be eligible to apply for one of the loans. The individuals who are working there would be eligible for the $1,200 for if they are single, if there is a married couple, each of them would be eligible for the $1,200, and as I mentioned before, the children would be. Directly for dollars to fund or put in to finance it, I think they would be able to qualify as any other company to apply for one of those loans that are available. I'm not going to use the word to bail out for them, but we will do further checking on that, but I know they are eligible for those things. And thank you for that call.
Wonderful. Let's go to Mike. Mike Fulford, you are now live with the Congresswoman. You can go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, thank you, Congresswoman Beatty. So, I have been working with my bank. Their legal team has been looking at the SBA loan that just passed, and I am a little worried. It seems that the amount of the loan is pegged to 1 month's salary, 1 month's payroll. My small business is small bar, so all of the bartenders largely make their money from tips. So
Yes.
payroll is very small, and we're looking at trying to float our staff on, we're going to get about $6,500. That's it. And on top of that, they would lose their unemployment. So it's maybe about what they'd make in one pay period, and then they'd be cut off again.
Let me ask Scott, who is on the call, who is our legal counsel and staff. Is Scott on the call? Nick is on the call, our legislative director and legal counsel. Nick, are you there?
Sure, Congresswoman, and Mike, thanks for your call. So, to answer your question about your workers and their eligibility for unemployment, so the new provisions, and one of the things that was included in the bill that passed today was a new federal unemployment benefit, and it also changed, so that's $600 on top of any
Absolutely.
benefits that they might otherwise be eligible for. But what is also new is where if there is work share or if there is a reduction in their pay, that they would still be eligible for a proportional benefit as well, so that they would be able to make up some of the difference in any lost wages that they may see.
Thank you, Nick. Next question.
Wonderful. We have Judy. Judy, you are next. Judy Carey, you are live with the Congresswoman. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, Congressman. Thank you for taking my call. I'm calling in regard to the public schools, and it looks like we're in Westville. I would say they're probably going to be closed until the end of the year, but we haven't been told that. But I was wondering if there's any funds that will be allocated to help pay payroll for the ones that are especially on a critical age group, as far as for working and being too much contact.
Dr. Dixon, I don't know if you want to comment on that, but let me just say this to you, Judy. There is a line item in the package that talks about education in billions of dollars. Now, we just got the bill today and voted on it, but I know there are educational dollars in there. I'm not exactly sure, but we are making note of the calls, and we will be able to get you a more definitive answer on if it would be able to do the same thing for the school as it would for a small business. And Nick, I don't know if you want to comment on that.
Sure, and I don't know if we also have someone on from the Columbus City Schools that might be able to answer your question, not specifically about that school district. But there are also, because I think your question touched on
Thank you. Dr. Dixon, did you want to make any type of comment, even though it's the Westerville school system, or if you have the same or similar issue with the Columbus Public Schools?
Yes, thank you, Congresswoman Beatty. And thank you for that call. Yes, we are currently, our legislative action has been centered around our state testing and evaluations at this time. We are having conversations about funding, and as you stated, Congresswoman Beatty, that there are going to be further discussions around that. But we have, as the superintendent, we are advocating that there are some funds that would be provided to all of our districts in Ohio. So we are definitely looking at that.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Jean Delmont, let's go to you live. You're with the congressman. Go ahead and ask the question. Jean, are you there? Okay, I'm not sure Jean is on the phone right now.
Yes, we hear.
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you.
You may ask your question now.
Yeah, we can answer our question. We were just concerned about what she think about the work, and does she have a better idea on how she can support the unemployment right now at this point?
So is this, are you asking the question if someone has been laid off because they're unemployed as it related to a small business closing or not needing? That answer would be the same response. One of the things that I can tell you, while the bill is not perfect, there are a lot of opportunities for those to receive their unemployment. There was an additional $600. Actually, that was one of the reasons we held the bill up so much, to make sure that we could get those additional dollars in there. They would also be eligible for the $1,200. While we know nothing will maybe make everyone whole, it is one of the best first steps that we could have. I think Nick also mentioned that there will be other stimulus packages. I can tell you that we are already preparing for a stimulus 4, because later I will ask Dr. Thomas and Dr. Roberts to tell us their best estimation of where we are in this period, and maybe we'll go to them after this. But let me ask Mr. DePiero, did you want to weigh in on this with the chamber? Anything you have heard as it relates to unemployment, or certainly Ms. Frost with the African American Chamber of Commerce?
Thanks so much, Congresswoman Beatty. So good to be with all of you. And I do have our Vice President of Government Relations, Holly Rose, with me, so she may be able to fill in. What we believe right now, unlike unemployment in the past, where you would get maybe 1/2 of your pay
Yes.
for a period of 13 or 26 or 39 weeks, depending on how you extend it, you should be able to receive full pay for up to, if I'm not mistaken, Congresswoman, 4 months.
That-
Full pay for up to 4 months. And there are some employers who are trying to, some employers who will allow you to come back to their place of employment if they're back up and running when they're ready. So you should check with your employer
Absolutely.
how they feel about that. They may take you right back within a period of weeks or a month or so if they're ready to ramp back up and get their business rolling again.
And let me add one other thing to Don's comment. Also, the bill had stated that people would not have to do that traditional wait period, that you should go and apply now versus having to wait. Jill, did you want to weigh in or make any other comments from anything on your legislative side or that you have heard? Maybe she's still muted. Okay, Erica, before we take another call. Oh, yes, we can hear you now. Thank you.
Sorry about
And you mentioned Jobs and Family Services. We have Joy Bivens on the line. Joy, this might be a good time for you to come on and share what you might want to comment on that, or give information or how to contact your office. Is Joy on the line, or is she unmuted? Well, if not, we'll have more questions, I'm sure, about jobs and unemployment. If we could, Erica, now allow Dr. Thomas and Dr. Roberts to kind of set the stage for us, because a lot of the questions are coming around. We're only going to be able to receive payment or get loans for the month of April. And a lot of questions that we received before getting on the call related to, do we have any idea of how long this is going to be? Dr. Thomas, Dr. Roberts?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Nikita Roberts, Health Commissioner for Columbus Public Health. Thank you so much, Congresswoman Beatty, for having me on this call and for inviting me to participate. I can tell you that our numbers here in Hudson County increase every day, and those who are watching the situation know that's also the case for the state. If you watched the teleconference today, or the press conference today that Governor DeWine and Dr. Amy Ashton had, you likely heard them provide some modeling predictions of what the future looks like for us here in Ohio. And just to summarize it, they in essence said we're only at the beginning, and the next 2 weeks are going to be rough. We're probably going to see a significant increase in the number of cases, and that our case count here in Ohio is likely not to peak until May 1st or mid-May. So if that is the case, and they continue to issue their orders for all of us to stay home until we have seen some response or decline of that curve, we're in this for a while, and we all need to be prepared for what that means. Obviously, there's a significant financial toll on many people in our community, but I think people need to understand the human toll, the health toll that this could take on our community if we don't stay home. This disease could spread very quickly in our community, and we could see a significant loss of life.
Thank you so much. That really puts it kind of in perspective for us, and why it is so important for us to follow all of those regulations that you have been giving us from your office, and certainly want to thank you for that and all of your work. Is Dr. Thomas on the call? Okay, he's either muted or not. Erica, I'd also like to say that we have a Facebook question, and I believe it's from a Ms. Sharp, and that question is, how can minority business access funds from the stimulus? Well, let me just tell you, thank you. There is $350 billion for small businesses, which includes independent contractors, 1099. And that was something that was pushed very hard out of the financial services and the small business committees. And their work was just amazing to get this in here. One of the things that I have been putting a lot of emphasis on, that when we talk about small businesses and independent contractors, and we talk about the disparities that we already have, we have to make sure that minority businesses are included. Now, I know that's easy to say. So here's something else, and I was talking with Stephanie Hightower at the Urban League the other day about what type of training and awareness is going to be out here. Because I had a lady that owns a hair salon, and she said, we don't have a plethora of accountants and lawyers, and we've never been in this situation, but we would want to apply for one of those forgivable loans that if you maintain the number of employees that you have at the time of applying for the loan, they will give you the loan for 1 year as long as you maintain those employees at that same level. So one of the things when we get to the administrative rules about how do we really write the rules for allocation when the dollars go back into the communities, and that's where you come in. Another reason for doing the Teletown phone conferences is for us to hear from you saying we need to make sure that, in this case, minority businesses are included. We need to make sure that there are educational and training avenues for us to know how to get into the process to get those dollars. So I want to thank you for that Facebook question. Okay, Erica, we'll go to the next question you have, unless Dr. Thomas is on the call.
Dr. Thomas, are you there? Okay, we'll wait for him. We'll go to Monique.
Okay.
Monique Winston, you are live with the Congresswoman. You can ask your question now. Monique, are you there?
Yes, hi, Congresswoman. And this is sort of probably a follow-up to your last comment, but I want to make a specific distinction between self-employed entrepreneurs and small businesses. So not necessarily the beauty shop owner or the gym owner, but that independent contractor, musician,
Yes.
or that personal planner or that photographer. What I'm saying is several of them actually had business continuation insurance, which is not being paid out because there was an exclusion for viruses and pandemics. They don't qualify for unemployment, so a lot of them are wondering, will they, not the shop owner, but that individual person, will they be accounted for in the stimulus any kind of way?
Let me just say that was one of the things we fought for the most. And let me say thank you to those independent contractors and those 1099 individuals. And remember, I said small businesses, independent contractors, 1099 would fall into that. And we heard loud and clearly Facebook ads, phone calls from them. So the answer is yes. And that was my example of saying, when I said beauty salon, it's the person that's doing the booth rental. It's the person that is working in his or her own business for that shop owner. So we were very careful to try to protect both ends. It is the same thing if you are a small business and you are renting homes. We wanted to make sure we protected both ends. Those who are the renters, we didn't want them to be able to have liens or to be evicted. But we also had to protect those small business owners who were depending on that rent. So that is the way that bill was written, with dollars in there to protect and to give relief and aid on both sides. So thank you for that clarification if we did not say that. And again, it's going to take a lot of us in figuring out what avenues are we going to be able to use to educate the public out there, because I can tell you just in the 3rd Congressional District, there are so many independent contractors and small businesses. So keep asking those questions and we'll keep trying to fight to make sure that you are in the process for economic relief. Thank you. Next question, please.
Daniel, you are live. Daniel B. Are you there? It could be
Yes,
there.
I'm
Daniel?
here.
Okay, perfect. You may ask your question.
My question, the first question is, we hear about people observing personal hygiene, environmental hygiene, and so on and so forth, in order to retard or stop the rapid spread of the COVID-19. But what we haven't heard about any potential medication which could heal the people. So, how are our people who are hospitalized being treated?
I think that's a very good question, because on the news we are hearing a lot about those individuals who are hospitalized, those individuals who are in nursing homes. But I'm going to expand that out so we can get comments from several of the experts. So I'm going to kind of put you on deck again, Dr. Roberts, but also we have Laurel Dawson, who is the Chief of Staff to Governor DeWine, who's been out in the forefront with this. It also, that same question applies to people who are in shelters, whether it's a homeless shelter or a family and children's center. And I know we have Bill Faith on the call. So let's look at it in various parameters. And we also have individuals who are in our criminal justice center. And I know Stephanie Hightower is on the call. So let's start, Dr. Roberts, with the health part of it. If you have any suggestions or answers as it relates to individuals who are sick in the hospital, being able to follow the instructions that your office has been saying, the governor's office has been saying, my office has been saying. So, Dr. Roberts?
Sure. Thank you, Congresswoman Beatty. Great question. So, again, keep in mind that this is a virus. And typically, viruses cannot be cured. You can only treat their symptoms. Even when you think about the flu is a virus. There is medication out there called Tamiflu that we give to individuals with diagnosed with the flu. But it doesn't cure you from the flu. It just reduces your symptoms and the length of time that you're ill from the flu. But it's not a cure. This virus is no different than the flu in terms of it's a virus. So there is no medication to treat it or to get rid of the virus. And what we do is we provide symptomatic care. So if someone is well enough or stable enough to be at home, we would tell that individual to stay at home, isolate yourself from your family and other people who might be in your home, try to stay confined to one room, and try to use one bathroom that becomes the ill bathroom, and allow others in the household to use another bathroom so that you don't spread the infection to others. And then we say to provide supportive care at home. So drink lots of fluids. It can be water, it can be Gatorade, it can be anything like Pedialyte, depending on what your symptoms are, because you want to stay well hydrated. Because when you have a high fever, you tend to get dehydrated. You want to take Tylenol for any fever you might have or any body aches you might have. You want to take Tylenol or acetaminophen. And then if you're having any GI symptoms like diarrhea, you want to take medication for that. If you have a cough, you can take over-the-counter cold medicine for that. Now, when people are unstable and require hospitalization, they're going to get IV fluids, so they're going to get fluids, but instead of drinking it by mouth, they might get it through an IV or intravenously. They might need some help breathing. That could mean something like oxygen and having a nasal cannula, getting oxygen through your nose. If they're very struggling with breathing, they might need to be on a ventilator or a breathing machine to help them breathe. There's been lots of discussion in the media about some promising medicine that's been used for other diseases like malaria, but nothing has been proven. There's been no official studies done. All we have at this point is ad hoc information. And I am not aware here in Franklin County if any of our hospitals or any of our providers have been using those medications to take care of any of our COVID-19 patients here. So I don't know if Dr. Thomas has joined the call, he might be able to step in and add some information about that. But I haven't heard any of that yet in our community. But in essence, there is no treatment, there is no cure. It's all supportive care, supporting the individual as they go through the infection, as they deal with the infection, with either fluids, breathing support, and making them feel comfortable until they feel better.
Thank you, and thank you for being so thorough on that, addressing that question. Ms. Dawson, would you like to add anything else maybe that you might add on this question or another question, since we are honored to have you on the call, and certainly on this issue, the governor has been recognized nationally for putting the health and safety of individuals first.
Thank you for Congresswoman Beatty for inviting me and for doing this for the constituents of Central Ohio. I think it's very important for them to hear all the information that has been given today. Certainly Governor DeWine, together with his Ohio Health Director, Dr. Amy Acton, have worked very hard to try to slow the spread so that we don't overwhelm our healthcare capabilities. I think that's really important. I appreciate all that Dr. Roberts has done in Franklin County, especially telling everyone how to take care of themselves during this time if they do get sick. The governor is very aware that this is difficult personally and economically for everyone, but I want to thank you on his behalf for taking this seriously and for pulling together the community. The hand washing, the social distancing, the taking care of with cleaning, will all help all of our friends, our neighbors, our healthcare workers, our first responders, the small businesses are doing their best at this point. Then reading from the governor, he is working tirelessly to try to combat this invader and slow that healthcare curve, as you've seen on TV likely.
Thank you so much, Laurel, for your comments. I don't know if we're going to take another Facebook question, but Bill Faith, I wanted to allow you an opportunity because as we talk about people in hospitals, in our homes, in nursing homes, we also have people who are in our streets, who are in shelters, who are in various housing locations. Would you like to weigh in at this point? We had an amazing conversation the other day, and I know you have actually produced a document on this as it relates to this population.
Yeah, thank you, Congresswoman, for your strong leadership, as always. It is noticed and appreciated. So the report that you referenced is called Double Jeopardy. It talks about homelessness in light of the coronavirus, sort of two sides of jeopardy. So the biggest challenge we have right now, which we do need the governor's help on, which is related to the asking of FEMA dollars, is to help lower the density of our homeless programs, particularly for those who are at risk, like seniors, our fastest growing subgroup among homeless people, or families with children. You know, last year we had 3,000 babies
Yes.
in the homeless system. Those with pre-existing health conditions, we want to try to move those folks out as fast as possible, as well as just overall lowering the density in our homeless shelters, because they are congregate facilities. It's hard to shelter in place when you have no home to go to. So those are some things. We also want to make sure, and I do want to say the governor and Dr. Acton and the whole team involved, a key part of that, have been absolutely fabulous and responsive to so many things, and we are grateful. I do want to say we need to do what we can to prevent more people from entering homelessness now, and helping to exit people out of homeless situations as fast as we can. And then finally, I think for the next round of stimulus, Congresswoman, we need to look at a much bigger allocation of rental assistance to just help people that are suffering economically, who've lost their jobs, or their businesses have had to shutter,
Yes.
and they're worried about their own ability to pay their rent and meet their obligations. We don't want to just say a moratorium is going to fix that. I don't believe a moratorium will. Maybe some temporary relief from that. But the real issue is people have to have the ability to pay their rent, so they don't have to face homelessness. They could remain in their own housing to write this out. But right now, from what we're reading in the bill, there's some things that are potentially deployable for that need, but the need is so much bigger than what the resources seem to
Absolutely. And that's a good way for me to segue to, I believe Michelle Heritage is on the call. Michelle, could you give us some enlightenment because you actually are the director for one of our shelters.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of this. I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on, kind of boots on the ground. Community Shelter Board is responsible for Franklin County and Columbus in terms of our response to homelessness, and we've got a full shelter array, street outreach and housing services with 17 partner agencies that provide it. And to echo what Bill's saying, the number one thing we've been working on, the first critical path, is deconcentration. Literally, most homeless shelters are virtually everything that the CDC says you should avoid in terms of this virus. And so, number one is we have to deconcentrate the number of people in those shelters. So we have used some data and analysis from Bill Faith and Ohio and done our own. And we know we're going to need to bring up at least 3 shelters to obtain a social distancing. So that means about 600 people have to be moved out of our current shelter array. In addition, we're seeing numbers of people coming into homelessness for the first time already. These are people reporting to us that they've been doubled up or staying with others, and they're being asked to move along because people are concerned about the virus.
Yes.
On the back row of the shelters, we are having a lot of trouble getting people out. Most landlords that we have been working with are closed for business, and so it is nearly impossible at this time for us to exit people. The second critical path we're working on has to do with meeting the needs of people who are going to become infected with COVID, so people who are COVID positive and symptomatic. You know, the rest of us are being told, stay home and lay on the couch and you know, you can recover, but if you don't have a home or a couch, you can't do that. So we are working closely with many of our partners, including Dr. Roberts in the health department, who has been incredible support, the city, the county, our health and hospital system, to bring up what we're calling shelters for isolation and quarantine.
Okay.
And just in Franklin County alone, we are going to need to bring up 4 of those shelters for isolation and quarantine for about 100 households each.
Wow. Thank you, Michelle. That is, I am glad. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but the moderator is telling me my time is ticking, and we have a lot of Facebook callers, and I have 2 people. We're going to go to another question with Erica, but I want to do another Facebook question. We have someone from Central Ohio, NAACP. The question is, where can we get a copy of the bill? Thank you for whomever that question was. The easiest way for me to tell you is to go to congress.gov, congress.gov, and that bill number is HR 6201. The bill is about 500 plus pages of text, but once you get the bill, if there are questions, again, we're going to give you my office number, and you can call my DC or our district office. We're going to go to Erica, and then we're going to come back because we really have had a lot of small business questions, and I know we have Al Edmondson on the call, and I think he falls into 2 categories: as an owner of a barbershop and as someone who has independent contractors. And we also have Stephanie Hightower. But let's go to another caller with Erica. We'll come quickly back to them before we close out. Erica?
Wonderful. We're going to go to a live caller here. It's Norma. Norma, you are live with the Congresswoman. You can go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, here's my question. I was watching MSNBC the other day, and there's a county in Colorado where they are testing all of their citizens. And the testing accomplishes 3 things. It shows, well, let me explain this first. They take the test at the beginning, and then after 14 days,
They take it again.
So it shows 3 things. Who has the virus, and is asymptomatic, which is important because they're walking around spreading it and they don't know. And then secondly, who has the virus that has symptoms and who does not. So you know about that test, because you just made a comment. Do you know about that?
I have read the same thing, and it's not only there. There have been many places, but probably if you are asking, the answer is yes. But if you are asking us, is that something that we do? Why is it not done more? I could probably say as a lay person, and since we have Dr. Roberts on the line, she may want to weigh in more. But there is an economic cost to that. There are other places in states where they're not testing you at all for it because of the lack the number of tests. And I don't know quickly, Dr. Roberts, if you can give us a quick answer, because I'd like to get another call in and allow also the Urban League and Al Edmondson, as just someone who's out there in the trenches, to have an opportunity to have a minute or two. Dr. Roberts.
Sure, thank you, Congresswoman Beatty. So the answer to that question is, that's challenging because here in Ohio and here in Franklin County, we have a supply issue. So I think you've heard clearly that the state, they only have enough reagents or supplies to run so many tests. And as a result of that, they prioritize who they will test. And so if you're not hospitalized, if you're not sick enough to require hospitalization, and hospitalization does not mean a visit to the ER necessarily, it means being admitted to the hospital, then you're likely not going to get tested at the state lab. Now, locally, here in Franklin County, all 4 of our hospitals are doing outpatient testing. Many of our larger primary care providers are doing outpatient testing. But the challenge is they're not able to do this in-house, most of them. They're sending them away to private labs. And 2 weeks ago, when the private labs got the authority from the FDA to do these tests, they told everyone they expected, somewhere between a 2 to 5 day delay. So from the time you submitted the results, the test, to the time you got the results, it would be 2 to 5 days. Now, because so many people are sending samples to these private labs, it's taking somewhere between 6 and 10 days to get these results back. So I'm not familiar with what they're doing in Colorado or other communities, but for us, it's resources. And we don't have enough resources here locally or at the state to test more people. So we're really prioritizing them, or as the state likes to call it, tiers. And
Yes.
there's 4 different tiers of who can get tested and who's recommended. And those individuals who are otherwise healthy, have mild symptoms, don't have any comorbidities, any chronic health conditions, it's not recommended they get tested, and it's just recommended to say you likely have COVID, you need to go home, isolate yourself, and your family should stay home too.
Thank you so much for the question, and thank you again, Dr. Roberts, for that. My editorial comment would be, again, the 20 seconds of hot water, washing your hands, keeping the distance from people. We must take that very seriously. Before Erica tells me how many more calls we have, Stephanie Hightower, are you on the call?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Congresswoman Beatty.
Stephanie, I know you've been holding a series of meetings like many other people, so I don't want to leave anyone out, across the district, Central Ohio, across the state. But if you could tell us in just a few minutes either what you're hearing or if there's something you can address on any of the questions we've heard, I would appreciate it.
Sure, thank you. And congratulations for getting the package passed today. And thank you for your service, making the sacrifice to go back to D.C. And leave your safe environment to represent those of us in the district. This has been a great call. We are going to be primarily focusing on the fact that we want to create, at the Urban League, economic certainty and hope for the urban businesses and their
also have the Honorable Erica Crawley on the line. And Stephanie, you mentioned working with local governments. We also know as these dollars come back from the federal level, oftentimes they will go right into the state, and we want to make sure that those dollars go not only across the state, but they come back down into our community, so individuals like those on the phone and others who are out there fighting. There are thousands of people on this call and hundreds of people who are out there fighting like these experts. But Erica Crawley, I know you have been actively engaged at the state level. I've seen some of the things you've been posting about state legislation, about this virus. Can you give any insight to us?
Yes, thank you, Congresswoman Beatty, for allowing me to join on this call to talk about what we are doing here at the state level to make sure that Ohioans, especially in the 3rd Congressional District, are taken care of. We talked extensively. People have questions about unemployment compensation. I just want to say that 2 days ago in House Bill 197, which was our coronavirus relief package, that when it came to unemployment compensation, another thing that was done in that was to waive the work search requirement. And the website has been going down, and people have been contacting my office about how to apply. If anyone has any problems, they can always contact my office. We are still working for everyone to make sure that they have what they need. Not to be reached at 614-466-8010 if you have any issues with that. Also, when it comes to taxes, with the federal government changing and pushing back, moving tax day from April 15th to July 15th, we did the same in the state to comply with the federal government, so it got pushed back to July 15th. So you have until then to file your taxes and also make a payment with that. And then when it comes to locally, when it comes to water disconnections, the governor has an order to that prohibits water disconnections during this pandemic. And so if anyone is having issues with that, again, you can call my office. Or when it comes to evictions, you have Ms. Hightower, who is a resource, and my office is also a resource. And we are willing to do whatever we need to do, make phone calls to make sure that, one, the governor's orders are followed, but if there is something that we can do to work out something with landlords so people can stay in their homes, especially during this crisis, we want to be able to do that.
And thank you so much for that, State Representative Crawley. Let me also say I'm so glad she mentioned pushing back the date for your taxes. That is very important. Also, when they look at the $1,200, the income will be based on whatever the last income tax you filed. So if that was 2018, because most people have not filed their 2019, just remember that's less than $75,000. We would certainly be remiss if we didn't say along with the virus comes the census. And again, we are making sure that people still take time to fill out those cards that you receive, because it is so important for us to continue to get allocations back into some of the same communities, some of the same people that we are talking about. We have, Erica, another question on Facebook from Bruce. Bruce says, where can 1099 workers turn to for assistance? Let me just say that I can tell you that our chairwoman of the Small Business Committee and our chairwoman of the Financial Services Committee and many others of us really advocated hard, and 1099 employees will be given the same type of assistance within that small business framework. So again, it's going to be up to all of us on this call to figure out the education and awareness of it. Before we have to close out, I want to close out just with a person who's a citizen and out there. But Erica, do you have another caller on the line?
Yes, we have time for one more caller. There are a lot of people that have been asking questions and are waiting on the line, so I did want to mention, if you did ask a question and we don't get to you, please press 1 now on your telephone keypad, and we will follow up with you. So again, we have time for one more caller. 15
as an independent contractor, you are eligible for the dollars that go to individuals. Now, if you are an employee within your own company as an independent contractor, or if you're not an employee, there are other dollars available for you. And as a business owner, you are available. There are dollars you're eligible for. I think I heard someone else. Erica, is she still there?
No, she is not. She has hung up.
Okay.
We are all done with our line of questions. Did you want to close it?
I would like to close, but I wanted to know if Al Edmondson is on the call. I'll give him 30 seconds of my closing so we can hear it from the people. Al Edmondson? And if Al is not on the call, everybody tell him that he was on the call, and I want you to know that I am sanitizing, I am keeping my social distancing, and I am making sure that I am not seated with more than 10 people in the room. But let me simply say to everyone, thank you. Thank you to you, Erica. Thank you to everyone that was on the call. And certainly I extend my apologies because we had no idea that we would get the thousands and thousands and thousands of people on the line. But we will continue to post. We will continue to do PSAs. We will work with any and all organizations. And I can tell you there will be a stimulus packet for, and I can also tell you we will be coming live again on streaming on our Facebook. Again, thank you. I'm proud to serve you. And yes, I am Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, and I approve this message.